Hello, anybody who's already here. You're probably not here yet, but I'm just getting ready and set up. Double checking to make sure my mic still works, because I had to pull down my computer and then get it reset back up, because I went to a LAN party last month. And I haven't used it since, so just double checking that. Okay. Let's see if I can get this all set up. There we go. Just getting all set up, and I accidentally minimized a bunch of things, so bear with me here. Can't wait to get started on stuff today. See y'all in a bit. Or well, I'll get started in like 7 minutes or so. So, awesome. Welcome, folks. Just getting ready, getting set up like usual. Remember to stretch. Yep, that's a good one. Thanks, Zach. Good to see you here. Hey, Samuel. Nice to see you here. I'll be getting started at noon exactly. See where we go from there. Right now, like I said, just making sure mics are set up, so. Oh, cool. Glad to see that you're doodling along. Let me just get everything adjusted over here on my end. Got about 5 more minutes. Then we'll start with our first victim and get some Patreon requests drawn. So let me know if there's anything going on with the audio. Make sure, because that's the main thing for these early sections, is for me to make sure that my audio is all good, that I'm not like peeking in and out and all that sort of stuff. So let me know if things are too, like, background music's too loud or anything like that. Awesome. Awesome. Well, yep. Now that we're good to hear that the audio is all good. Got some water, so I'm nice and hydrated. Getting some stretches in beforehand. Alright, just checking, did I submit a form? Don't want to double submit if I did. Let me double check. And Arotha, just to double check, because I'm really bad at keeping track of folks' Patreon names versus their Discord names versus their what's it called? Versus like chat names. Arotha, what is your patron name listed under? You're Irotha everywhere? Okay. Well, looking at my thing, I do not have an Irotha listed, so feel free to jump in and add that in. Looks like I just got another submission as well, so I'll add that to my names list. because I want to make sure to keep that up to date. So everybody has a chance. And we got about 3 more minutes till we get started, so if you're getting that in, don't worry, as I'm going, I'll keep checking the requests, so no worry about rushing or anything to get your request in. I'll just keep updating it as we go along. Okay. Most things are already all set up. How's everybody's week been? As you guys probably can tell from all my other posts, mine's been a long one. Just getting stuff done with helping my family move, and because essentially we had to take 2 households and a warehouse and move them all to Texas. So it's been a week, and on top of that all, we had to help corral my nephews who are about a year old each while doing all this, and they're twins, so it's like all the juggling details. I mean, I'm staying where I'm at, so at least I wasn't moving. But considering that my family was right next to me, and then now that I was making sure that they were getting helped, and that took a while. But yep. Nope, I'm not in Texas now. I'm still in the Pacific Northwest. But all of my family is, all my immediate family. So my mom and my dad and some of my siblings. So it's a pretty big move for my family. We used to live pretty close together, so that's why I was helping them out, because like I literally lived down the street. I lived down the street from my parents, and then my brother lived like 5 minutes down the street. So we were all sort of a big old cluster in my neighborhood, and then my brother had to move for work stuff, and my parents went along with him, and so did a good chunk of my immediate family is now living in Texas. Hey Blue, good to see you. Glad that this time zone worked out better for you. I know switching around has been a bit of a pain. Some people it's made it worse, some people it's made it better. And glad to see y'all here. Looks like we have just hit 12 o'clock, so let's get started and get drawing some Patreon requests. I'm gonna transfer over to my drawing tab, and let's pull over our wheel of names. Looks like we just had, I just need to update it real quick with another entry that just popped in as I was looking at it. Alright. I wrote that you just got in right before the start. I'm going to shuffle a couple times, and let's click and see who we have as our first transformation victim. And it looks like Valerie V1, you have our first drawing of the day. Let's take a look and see what you wanted. Submissions. Pull that over so that I can, keep a little bit of the mystery. Okay. So Valerie wants Our character Vidreg turning into a Florin from Starbound. That's a lot of words that I don't know, but that's why I always ask for references. I mean, I vaguely know what Starbound is. So let's take a look at these references. All right. Whew. That's a lot of references. Okay. I've drawn this bird before. Nice. Now let's look up what the heck a Florin is, because I am unfamiliar with Starbound. Whoop. All right. Images. Okay. Fun planty people. Nice. Nice, nice. Let's see what we can do. All right. Put these over here so I can look at them while drawing. And go for it. All right. Zoom in a bunch so that, oh, wrong way. Get a new layer started. So we have a inking layer and a sketch layer. Now, let's see. So they're becoming a Florin. Let's think about. Now, my question, if Valerie's in here, when we're going for this transformation, are we thinking more along the lines of like the bird, them as your character as a bird, as the harpy, or oh, that's big. Why is it so big? Or as their more humanoid version, because it looks like there's evidence of both in the reference I got sent. I kind of want to do a pose sort of like this. I don't know why. Maybe it's just starting out brain. Like a little bit of a startled pose, but okay. So Valerie didn't answer. I'll go ahead and work from what I think is most interesting, which I like birds. Birds are fun. So I'll go from their bird form into a Florin, unless Valerie says otherwise. Now, let's put, the basic torso in. And some bird legs. Am I doing too much on the sketch layer? Maybe. But we'll figure it out later. Now, that's sort of our large fluffy bird legs. Hey Avery, good to see ya. And I'm just roughing in some basic shapes. I kind of want to take those wings and start having them like turn into some sort of large almost like plant petals, or like sort of like maybe a monstera leaf. You know, those plants, monsteras. They're they're like the stereotypical house plant. And it looks like there's some variety with like florin shapes. So I think we can play along with it. This is what I mean when I say monstera plants. I think I can take the wing shapes and turn those into that sort of plant. Let me turn this opacity down a bit and start getting more detailed. And then let's pull some more of these shapes out. And we got feathers on one end. We kind of want to do this thing where it like, because overlapping feathers and overlapping leaves have really neat, have a very similar shape. So I'm going to see what we can do with that. And then looks like they have sort of like a leg guard type thing going on with the leaves. Kind of want so let's make sure that these shapes are a lot more pointed when they're overlapping. That way they convey leaves better. Whereas these we want fluffy because they're still feathers. But we still want, a nice overlap. Now, down to this leg. I've still got it in sort of a harpy, like, shape language. But I'm thinking that we can turn these feet more into roots or root-like structures. Because tree roots often get to be kind of fun and crazy like that and look like feet. Or at least they do where I live, in the wet. Now, looks like they've got some sort of like leaf guard here on the ankle. So we are gonna pull stuff from that and have it go in between the toe. It's like, looks like they have sort of half foliage, half clothing type deals going on. Clean this up a bit. And then let's make sure I can get this wing in before I do anything too crazy. so it's not like being blocked. Oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I want my non-zoom. So let's get the shape in first. Looks like we've got some sort of feather finger type things going on. Which, that's what I was worried about, is that it would overlap right here and really hide a decent chunk of the body. But that's okay. I just needed to make sure I remembered that before I went and did a bunch of work over there, you know? Because otherwise it's just disappointing. Get some more feathers. And more up here as well. See if I can't remember how to feather up a wing. I like a little bit of scruffy soft feathers as well, in between the nice long ones. And then under here is where that connects to the human section of the body. And we should get it nice and fluffy in here, like the reference photos. We want to imply human musculature a little bit, but not a lot. And then let's get some feathers and more harpy duck foot over here, rather than the human one that I was subconsciously doodling. I know they're probably a different bird, but you know, webbed feet automatically brain goes to duck in my brain. I'm guessing like an albatross. That's what they. That's sort of what they look like. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I am most probably wrong. Well, TJ, don't worry if if it didn't get sent before, you can always put it back in. Let me just double check, make sure you're not already on here. And nope, yeah, it looks like you're not on here yet, TJ, so if you want, the thing's still open, so don't despair. You can still go and put your stream request in. Okay, and then let's get some scaling on that bird leg. A little bit of making you look like you got actual bird feet. And then adding in some leaf foliage decor, blending in together, as well as some other light feathering. Have a good time at class. Now that we got the mostly bird side done, let's take a look at the mostly plant side. Let's add a few more segments, because that's another like fun design choice that they have, is these sort of segmented bits on them. And let's go for a Monstera plant arm. I've completely neglected the face, but I'm gonna deal with that later. So, later. If I can get this body looking all right, we should be in business. Okay. So, let's put a little bit of thought into this stem. Sort of have almost a, not exactly wood, but sort of a knot and implied veining almost from here. Ariolu, nice to meet ya. Nice to see ya. And let's get several, like, little planty bits in here. Because the way that, way that a leaf is usually shaped, they've got that one central spine and then other little spines coming off of it. So let's do that on this Monstera plant inspired wing. And then put it into sections, because with these plants, they sort of like section off, sort of break along like segment themselves along into sort of like squares almost. They're like curved squares is what I'm going for. That sort of shape. These are looking a bit more like not quite how I want. So let me erase those real quick. Now, let's pull a few other little holes going on in here, because I think that's a fun design element of this plant. Don't ask me how they fly with holes in their wings, but like, you know what? We're not going to think about it. It's fun. It's a fun design. And then I'm gonna pull more of these veins, because it looks like they're less branchy than I thought on Monstera and more ribby. Like they all rib off of the main stem fairly straight. I'm gonna add a little bit of waviness to this edge, and then go from there. And then, let me go ahead and start on this face. Now we want to make it look both like the character and like the new creature. So let's start by adding just a nice basic shape. And then because this face is kind of flat and they've got kind of a large nose, let's sort of have it shrinking away, like it's flattening into the face. And we're going for sort of a oh expression, like, whoa, didn't expect that. These critters also have little flesh fangs. Well, plant fangs in this case. So we'll make sure that shows up in the face as well. And these big dark alien eyes. So let's get them big ol' eyes in. Get a little eye shine in there to have them looking down. Now, I kind of want to take this like faux hawk ponytail thing they've got going on and make it into like a big poof of wisteria blossoms. Because that sort of fits with the flowy nature of their hair. I'll give you guys a look at, for those unfamiliar with wisteria, this is such. And I think it fits that nice sort of very soft and fluffy attitude that the hair has. And now let's see if I can doodle it in quickly, because I will then make it nice when I ink it, A little bit of few flowers over here as well with this ear. Then it looks like their ears are kind of, when they have ears as Florians, they're kind of leaf shaped as well, so let's get that in there. And then second eyeball. That's too big. Not too big, but like wrong spacing. I almost wanna. Let's have a slightly human eye, and that's a little bit of creepy element in there. Have an eye that's being taken over by this sort of black coloration. So you got a regular eye with some black sort of veining that's bleeding through it, is what I think. Just a little creepy, a little out there. And more on this hairstyle. Looks like, yeah, sort of big ponytail faux hawk undercut type dealio. So let's see if we can get that in here without it being too messy. Like, it needs to be a bit messy, but it needs to have some structure. How did I draw it last time? Okay. Let's clean up a couple of these lines up here. We want to keep this head shape pretty consistent and clear. So, like, we want it to be understood that this is a a shaved part of the head. Maybe we add some flat leaf texture as it's taken over that area. Yeah, I think that works. And then let's continue this big ponytail poof. Let's zoom out a bit so I can... Let me zoom. Let me unzoom. There we go. Now, yeah, getting the big picture is sometimes a good plan. Looks like I've got enough weight on this side, I think, that I should have this ponytail poof come back here and balance it. Now, let's add a couple more leaves, I think, this way. Sort of mix it in between that feather and leaf idea. And one more zoom out to... I think some parts aren't quite proportionate. Control T. Like, I made the head way too big because that's what you do when you're focusing wrong. Okay. Like that. First things first, I'm going to tilt it a little bit. There we go. And then second off, let's turn this off so I can see what I'm doing. These legs are way too short. So let's grab my legs. Hit that nice Control T. Twist stuff around a bit. Deselect. And do a little bit more in here. Let's get that sort of an inkling of the back feathers. I still think that head is too big. Maybe it's just because I put way too much hair on it. But no, I think the head's a touch too big. So let's give it all just a quick shrink-a-dink. I need just to scooch it up a little bit. Select, deselect, pen. Yeah, okay. Hair's poofy, but not that poofy. Oop, that's a bit too large. And then some more veining. Control Z, Control Z. All right. Okay, looking back, I think these proportions are better. Okay. And I think I'm gonna call that done. Valerie still in chat, or to head out for class? Either way, I'll write their name up here. There you go, Valerie. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see who we got next. Oh, this is all my just double check, make sure looks like we have 23 new, a couple more entries. So let me just refresh. Add some names to the wheel. And I did remove Valerie's name, so we won't hit it again. And okay, yep, I think that's everyone. Pull that back up for here. Hit that shuffle a couple times. And give it a roll. While it's rolling, I'm going to take a drink. And see who comes up next. Alright. Azure, looks like you're up. Let's take a look. I'm going to remove you from the chart. And see what you wanted, Azure. Alright. So, Azure says, my character midway through a donkey TF with a concerned expression. He has a tail, ears have grown, his arms have become forelegs with hooves, and his face is starting to jut into muzzle. He can't speak without braying. Okay, alrighty. That's a good mental image. Let me go ahead and pull up our references, which I'm pretty sure it's... Yep. My computer recognizes it because I've seen it quite a few times, both for commissions and on rules. So let's get going with donkey time. Scooch. What? Oh, did I make you really big, Valerie? Maybe. I kind of wish I had like an infinite canvas sometimes. That way I just like wouldn't have to think about taking up space, you know? Okay, so from the sound of how you're describing this, we're still mostly human, but we've got like upper half extremities having been having been the ones that started everything. So let me get to the right layer, of course. Turn that layer back on. And go for... I almost kind of want to like have Azure with their like donkey foreleg like sort of a surprised expression after they've let out an unexpected bray and like covering their mouth. So let's get sort of a whoops sort of image going on with this foreleg. Okay, then. Sorry, I'm just repositioning the torso because I don't think that's in the right way. Oh, I must have drawn real weird. Let me pull on. Okay, I am drawing stupid big right now. I did not zoom in way far enough. But, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's kill my computer. Let's make it large. Also, I'm gonna save it real quick so that things don't go wrong, you know? I hate that that Photoshop will like automatically be like, oh, you want to save it? You want to save it on the web, right? And I'm like, no. I want it on my computer. What the heck? It always pops up with like, here, save it to the cloud. And I'm like, no. No. it just frustrates the heck out of me. It's like, I have a computer. Why would I put it anywhere else? Okay, let me just get into the Patreon stuff. And February request stream. There we go. Save that. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I kind of just like hate that it's the default option, or seen as the default option by the computer. So, alright. Back to being on topic. Alright. Oof, that sucks. Yeah, without your knowledge? Geez Louise. Alright, I'm pulling up reference images of donkeys, which are very cute. Donkeys are so much fun. Now, let's get sort of a little bit of a longer neck, I think. And then get some arm and forelimb stuff going. Equines and like their forelimbs are fun, but also hella cursed sometimes, because, you know, essentially it's just it's a big toenail. So you've got all these weird, you got all these weird joints that you have to draw, because it's a whole hand compressed into being a single. It's a hand and a finger, all compressed into being a singular unit to run on. Hi, Ro. Yep, we're just starting out. This is our second request, and Azure got it. They're becoming a donkey. And let's get this head in. We want a little bit of a muzzle, but not a lot of muzzle. Sorry, I'm gonna get in close, so that we don't end up with weird abominations. Let's get some nice shocked eyes in here. Like, oh my gosh, did I just bray? Then some nose, and a little, like I said, a little bit of muzzle. A little bit of hee-haw. Let's make this a little bit more apparent. I've been taking... So my question, I kind of am curious about the idea behind this pick, Azure. You decided to take a Pleasure Island vacation trip. Or just random donkification. You know, it doesn't always have to be Pinocchio related. Then looks like they've got a very cute little like black tip on the ear, and then get that little fuzz. Yeah, that's basically it. I had Pinocchio on the mind. Fair enough. That's fair. I mean, it's a classic for a reason. And sometimes you just need a good classic. Alright. Control Z. Not liking how that hairline's turning out right now. Let's turn this into some more fluffy fur. That's creeping down your chin. And then make sure I get this. Use curls right. And we want to get this other ear happening behind. A little bit of coloration. You know, something I think is kind of fun. Donkey ears kind of look like Pikachu ears when you draw them like this. And a little bit of fur on this side as well. That's like creeping in, is what I'm thinking. And a little bit of shading on the nose. I kind of feel like the eyes aren't scared enough, so like, yeah, more. No, gotta be a bit more pinned. More pinprick. A little bit more surprise. Emphasize it. And then got this hand going up in front. Okay, again, hoof, hand. Gotta look up the devilry that is equine feet. Because they fold in a weird way. Donkey hoof. Up. Nope. That's not giving me what I want. Rawr. Rawr, rawr, rawr. Trotting, maybe? Like, in motion. Yeah, okay. That's not what I want to see. Open image. There we go. I need this particular bend, you know? Yeah, that particular bend. Because it's a, like I said, a weird set of folds. It's hoof. Then this, not the frog, what's it called? I think it's called like the hawk or something like that. Up here. And then that folds sort of into this little bone, which goes like that. And then connects more to the rest of the arm. Let's now see if I can make sure it's in proportion to all the human bits. Yeah. Okay. It's not quite working right now, but I will figure it out. Give me just a sec. Because right now it's creating a bunch of weird tangents that I don't like. Gotta think in tubes. Tube time. Tubes in proportion and in foreshortening, which is also the devil. There we go. Better tubes. That's better tubes. Because if I'm thinking correctly, this should go all the way back that way. This one's probably too long, but okay, I think I've got like the shapes almost right. Let me do some twisting. Control T. Let me free transform. Yeah. Nope. Distort. That's what I need. Yeah, that feels better. Pull that elbow down a bit. That's a bit too weird. And then, yeah, elbow down a bit, a little bit forward. Select, deselect. Okay. That feels like it functions better as a believable thing. Cuz that's the trick, really. When you're doing art, it doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. It just has to be believable enough to work. You know? It's gotta look like it could be a thing. Let's maybe make this a little larger. Match the other hoof better. Get it out of the armpit a bit. There we go. Alrighty. I'm pretty happy with that upper half. I think it fits. Let's add some legs in. And a lower body, which should stay mostly unchanged, I think. It's also, but I do kind of want to have like a tail, sort of wrapping around in the pants, just about ready to burst. That's what I'm thinking. Of course, we got Azure's classic. Oh, I see one of the things I'm missing. Let's get a little bit of mane going on back here as well. Like the hair is becoming a mane. Maybe a bit of ruff, like a little bit of fur popping in. Yeah, like that. And then let's get some clothes on ya. Soon to be, of course, destroyed in the donkification, but We're not quite at that part yet. So, then get your Pokemon shirt in. That'll look better once I have actual tools to make it nice. Some pants. Worst part of sudden volunteer thrift? How much you spend on clothes? Exactly, yeah. That would probably be the thing that, like, breaks the bank. You have to have, like, in order to be a TF influencer, you definitely have to have a clothing sponsor, you know? Alright, now I want to show this tail sort of encased in the fabric here. Like, it's gonna pop. These pants are gonna tear soon, but not quite yet. And then could the tail be out? Oh, yeah, sure, I can do that. You know, that's actually a decent idea. Some tearaway pants sort of deal. For someone who was constantly having transformation happen. Tearaway clothes would be the good, like, non-magical alternative for keeping yourself semi in the green with your clothing budget. Let me just zoom out so I can place the tail properly. Kind of want it like that. Yeah, I think that works good. Let's add the rest of these pants in. And then there we go. Have it sort of wagging. Alright. I think I made you a little bit lankier than I usually do, but I think that works. You're kind of, you know, getting into that. Donkeys are kind of lanky, in a way. Alright, and quick shoes. And I think I'm gonna call that good for now. What do you think, Azure? Alrighty. I'm glad you like it. Let's see who our next victim is. And let me just double check. See if we have new folks. Yep, TJ got theirs in, so let's put them on the list. Whoop. And Control V. Shuffle it up. And spin. Take a drink of water, just regular water. And it looks like it's Major Mooch that won this next round. Alright, get that removed. And let's see what Major Mooch wants. Alright. Major Mooch says, I'd like to request my girl Mira going through a mouse transformation, please. Okay. Get some mice time. Pop up. Pulling up these references. Ah, I remember her. She's fun. Control V. Okay. V. Looking at all the cute art. All right. I got everything pulled over here. Let's get over here and then let's zoom in a bit so I'm not drawing it as big. Here we go. Now, mouse time. I think one of my main concerns here is to draw this and not make it look like the main character from Mice T. They've got very similar builds and body shapes, just when they're not colored. So let me go ahead and see what I can do. I'm gonna go a bit more mousy, like cute little haunches, I think. And then I almost want to have her like holding up a piece of her clothing. I'm a bit stuck right now, so give me a sec. Looking up some cute mice pictures, images. And let's see. Let's go for a sitting one. Or actually, okay. Kind of want to have her sort of looking over her shoulder, like watching this transformation happen. So sort of in between phase. Am I kind of referencing some of the images of mice ladies that Tezuka drew? Maybe. But I think that pose will look nice. Have one hand sort of sitting over here. And sort of a furry leg going out this way. And one sort of reaching out like that. Okay, let's I think that's a good base. Let's go on to the top layer and get a little bit more detailed. Now, let's have this turtleneck start to being oversized. No. Let's focus on the face first. Figure out where I'm going with this. Hold on, let me check something. Okay. Why is it so small? Let's bump that up. No, I don't need to lock. Control Z. Control Z. Let's keep that 11 inches of height. But make it nice and large width-wise. Give it a bit of time to think. Oof. Never mind. Let's undo all that. Okay. I would try to make the canvas size bigger. Wrong way. Okay. Continuing on. No, this is still like too small for me. I think I need to just make it bigger. Just make it bigger so I don't have nasty, nasty lines that are all blurry and fuzzy. There we go. Then I have her nose. Just sort of a nice, oh, type of expression. A sort of demure look, I think, would be cute. And give her some nice large eyes. Large eyes. Okay. Give her some good eyelashes, and then the same sort of hairstyle going on. Fill some cute ears. If I can remember how to draw cute mouse ears. I think my question now is whether I go sort of like Godiva nudity, she's shrunken out of her clothes type of deal, or if her clothes, or if she's still fairly large and still, you know, semi-human. You know, whether to go more anthro or full, or more cutesy animal. Is my question, I think. Not happy with how that hair is dividing. Okay, this bit goes here, that bit goes over there, then I think we go more like that. This is her back, so her hair is going to be cascading down that, of course. I definitely want to put some fur on her, so let's go more of a Godiva nudity situation. Like, you know, nothing's showing, and she's fuzzy enough that it's not obscene, you know. Then like maybe have her glasses here in the background to sort of showcase that she's tiny. Yeah, tasteful. Cute little micey hands. Little claws. Then, if I remember correctly, I think the thing that delineates mice from rats is tail fur, I think? Let me remember, because no. I might just be misremembering. But I thought mice had like slightly furrier tails. But it doesn't look like. Let's rotate so I can draw this curve nice and smooth. Okay, rotate, reset view. And sort of have an indication of another leg back there. And then get some little feetsies in. Because they do have those fun little feet with all the little feet, with all the little like toes and toe beans and that sort of jazz. Add another leg so you know it's back there, but not like in the way. Then I think maybe have her sort of like reaching out, kind of like, what the heck is this tail? Like touching it for the first time, sort of deal. That's what I think would be cute. Then, yeah. Add a little bit of shading over there. I think I need to, yeah, there we go. Get that elbow in there. Get it resting properly. Get this delineated better so you can tell that she's turning her head. Make sure it reads well. I think I need thicker line work up here a bit. There we go. Make that line weight nice and proper so you can tell she's turning around and looking at things. Kind of flatten that side. I'm worried that it's not reading correctly, but maybe it's the hair. The hair outline, I think, is part of what's making it read weird, I think. No. Control Z, Control Z. Okay. Alright, how do I get this reading well? Okay. So, her hair should be falling behind these ears. Is very curly and long from what I'm seeing. Get a little bit in front too, so it we can tell it's wrapping around her, I think maybe. I think so. Make these glasses framed a little thicker over here. That's too far. Kind of want, yeah, I like the little whiskers peeking out there. Add some more body rolls because that'll help, I think, with the way things are laying. There we go. Still not sure I'm 100% on it, but you know, I'm not sure if I'll ever be. So let's zoom out. Okay. It looks all right from afar. I think it works. I'm gonna call it good. And here you go, Major Mooch. Close everything out over there. Pull this back. Well, let me double check that we don't have more submissions first. Nope, looks like we're on the clear. And go ahead and spin again. Alrighty. Avery, looks like you're our next person up. Let's see what Avery wants for their request. Okay. Avery says that they want my beloved Stingwing as a Lapdian, which, again, no clue what those are. But we'll take a look. Take a look at the references. Okay. Alright, so it looks like there's some sort of gargoyle or golem. Hey, Lockley. Good to see you here. Okay. Let's take a look at all of our images. All right. Let's see what I can... Let's figure out a good way to do this. Looks like I'm on Avery's drawing at the moment. And they want a golem type thing, for a Lapdian golem that is partially their character. Because of, I'm not going to do all the limbs because there's a lot. Maybe just, like, I think every time you keep trying to add more limbs, like all the wings, all the arms. So we're going to cut down just a little bit, but still have it be, still have it be the character. So we'll keep elements from both. Alright. I think we'll keep forearms. 'Cause that's fun. And these sort of sickle-shaped wings. We'll just make them more... Oh, whoops. We'll just make them a bit more gargoyle-y. Now, Let's add in a tail. And scooch this all up because I am drawing on the wrong place. And you won't have enough room for the legs. Okay, there we go. Keep the leg segmenting a little bit. And the horns. Zoom on in here. I always like accidentally make one arm have way too long of an upper when I'm drawing it with the hand sort of forward. I don't know why. I try my best, but sometimes my best just does not quite compute. Then, oh gosh, God. Put a neck in here. And just general shape. As well as some cool lays. Sorry, I'm getting quiet. I'm kind of tired. Kind of having just having some brain fart and not being able to think of things to talk about at the moment. All right, get some little spikes in there because those are fun, and you can carry those over from your other form. Now your requests are a surprise for you and the rest of stream. When you forget to put them down, forget to write them down. There we go. Get some fun gargoyle-y toes in there. So, see, I kind of want to like do sort of some banding, some of that gold banding that they have. to suggest the segments rather than being actually segmented. And then some more swirly designs on this torso, similar to the bee stripes, but not quite. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, filigree. Sort of tiger stripe it. Probably a thicker, longer tail than a lot of the other golems. That's not right. Okay. Sort of mimicking that bee again. Bee-shaped, along with more stripedy bits. Zoom out a bit. Get those arms in. This other arm in, I think. Yeah. I think we add some more striping coming from underneath. I kind of want to like, I'm not feeling the striping up here I don't like how I did it. So I'm going to clear it off real quick and design it later, because my brain is not functioning it well. Alright, let's work on some wings right now. Give them a sort of a single joint up here, because we want the same shape as the bee wings, but translate it over to, again, a more gargoyle-esque form. It doesn't need to bow out, because there's a bone there. Very rarely are bones curvy like that, you know? They're usually more straight on. Then, despite it probably not being the most aerodynamic, we're gonna have it sort of curve in here. Maybe have it connect like to the small of the back instead. Then over on this side as well. Some vague claws in there. Ah, too far. Sort of, again, we can all clean this up more in post or more in when I do the actual inking. So I'm gonna get some messy claws in there. Then put the head shape in. Ah, too far. Well, maybe not. Looking at the golems, you've already got a face shape that's fairly close. Add these eyes in. Now, don't think I'll put in the mandibles or anything like that, or the extra eyes, but I'll put a little, some little facial flair in, like sort of a few spikes. Or, no, let's not, maybe not spikes, but let's mark in where they would be with some facial filigree. And then go for the hair. The horns, which I think I can keep pretty much the same. Maybe a little bit blunter, but like still pretty much the same. Make them feel a bit more solid, you know. Then the hair. I'm gonna have it be more like one shape type of deal, because you know, so they're living stones, so it's sculpted hair. So a touch less flowy than normal, and more sculptural is what I think. Has how that would translate. More one piece. Maybe a few little frills here and there, but there we go. And then let's see how I can do this. Maybe I'll take the like neck ruff, sort of indicate it a la filigree. I think that works. I mean, I kind of want to, yeah, add another spike in there. And then add some twirlies on the arms. And I still want to do the ribbing, like the bee striping somehow, but I'm not really sure on how I want to make that work out. So let's table it for now. Or, because the thing that really works with the bee striping, maybe I'll just keep it the same and have it be like little individual bands like that. Like little... It works well on the design when I don't have to like when it can disappear into the fluff is what I'm thinking. Otherwise it kind of gets hard to design around. So maybe without it looking like it's pointing at the crotch, you know? So I'm trying to avoid that without... I think maybe those tiger stripes look okay. They at least look better than what I was doing before. Some swirls up the arms. And something sort of down here as well. What I'm thinking. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that for right now. That's too thick of a line. What do you think, Avery? Looking good? Alrighty. Put your name on it. We'll see who else we're doing. Uh-oh, that's not good. The place where I have my forms is having an error. Let's see if this resolves, because... Aha! There we go. Good. Because we got time for about one more in before our cutoff date of 2 p.m. On later days I will probably go till 3. I do have, go from 12 to 3, but today I have an event that I got to go to after 2, so I'm real sorry, guys. This is going to be a shorter one, but we're going to get at least 5 done. So, let us roll. Okay. Oh, sorry. There we go. I thought I had it on the wrong screen. But looks like Squirrel Keeper is our winner. So let's go ahead and see what Squirrel Keeper was looking for. Whoops. Hold on. Come on. This is just chugging along. Uh-oh. Something is up with this website. It is not wanting to cooperate with me very well at the moment. Alright, there we go. Okay. For Squirrel Keeper, says that they're looking for post-raccoon TF with some anthropomorphic features like hair remaining. Trigger being the morphing cube still being held. Not super necessary, but it'd be nice to have a nice touch to have a normal raccoon watching with a curious expression as if it was the one whose DNA was just acquired. Okay. I might not have the second raccoon in there, but let's get going on our Animorphs inspired raccoon. Alright. Got a whole bunch of space to play with. Just hit save so I don't lose any progress. Alright. Oh dear. I was about to go grab the reference art, the reference images, of course, and the site is timing out. So let's go for starting on raccoons. Alright, let's get some. There we go. Got some good raccoon images. Very cute, very fluffy. Maybe we have this one sort of slumped like this to contrast our mouse over in the other corner, on the other side. Raccoons are very fluffy. Just extremely fluffy. And they got kind of trapezoidal shaped heads. let's get this, make sure we got the big old fluffy tail in there. And the morphing cube. I kind of, let's put it like it's holding it right here in the center. With its little weird grabby hands. Maybe move this head back a bit, sort of like a surprised expression. Oh, any chance you can look? Want to look at yours? I'll take a quick peek back. Whoops, too far. There you go, Avery. Take that pic quick. 'Cause I don't have a lot of time to get to work on this on the other piece. And going back up. Let's put another paw here. As well as this big old fluffy tail. Sort of poking out in between. Get sort of a I want to have him more looking down. Like, oh gosh. Didn't mean to do that. Sort of look. That's not a great raccoon right now. I am very... I need to make sure I look at the animal before I go hog wild. And then we want to kind of shape this mask that it has and use it as eyebrows. Because you know, playing around with the animals' shapes is how you get away with making things read well for humans. Because if you go too realistic sometimes, you end up with just not good art. Sort of like how the Lion King live action, quote unquote, because it was, you know, it was all animated. Because, you know, they're just doing it digitally and calling it live action. But they went too far in the realism direction and it ended up being very bland. So you need to give a good balance. And let's floof this out a little bit more. Get it very poofy, because they are very poofy. Then I said they wanted hair. And with the list service not working. Oh, wait. Come on. There we go. Okay, cool. I was able to get it to work real quick. Alright. Let me find the right one. Squirrel Keeper. There we go. Make sure I get the reference image. Okay. And it's an IRL image, so again, probably not going to show that just for, privacy. There we go. Now let's get some hair in there. And continue working. Raccoons have these very fun little round ears, but also sort of kitty cat-like ears. I remember reading like this old magazine called Ranger Rick when I was a kid that had a raccoon mascot. It was all it was all about nature and animal subjects, but for kids. It was a good little magazine. Let's draw this morphing cube. And the pobs. Because the funnest bit about raccoons is they have little people hands. Let me just... I like how nature designed an animal that they were just like, yeah, let's give it little hands. Little criminal hands. To do little criminal things with. Then we can get nice and loose with all these flippy shapes. I need to take a quick look at how their feet work, though. Okay. So they've got kind of long... They got plantigrade feet? Almost? Or at least very low digitigrade feet. They've got almost like a pad like that, from what I'm seeing. this tail in here. I think the head is too large. Let me shrink that down. Well, head too large is a common problem. If simply because, you know, just the animal brain is like, head is important. Must make sure that that you draw the head. And, you know, it's where your brain focuses. And so sometimes you end up drawing it way too big, despite your best efforts to keep it the right size. Now let's put some feet on him over here as well. Maybe like, I know they're very fluffy, but you gotta have a little bit of smooth to contrast the floof, you know? Otherwise, it doesn't work. And then I think I need to lengthen this leg a bit. Yeah. It is 2 p.m. I'm gonna put some quick rings on this tail so we can denote that it is raccoon. But I think I'm gonna call it done here. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'm sorry that you know, things were so short today, but I must be off. It was a lot of fun. I hope to see you guys again. Hope to see you guys again next week. Sorry, I'm trying to do too many things at once. Can't write and talk. Squirrel keeper. There we go. All right. Glad to see y'all. Hope you have a good time. Hope you had a good time. And I will be out for a while, but later tonight I should be able to, if anyone wants me to message them their requests for this time, just DM me and let me know. Alright, see y'all later. Bye.